Okay, this is the last lesson in Unit 6. It's writing exponential functions. We've done that before with growth and decay, but now we're going to write exponential functions from either a graph or from 2 points. Okay. So what two things do we need to write an exponential function? We learned this in Lesson 6. We need A and B. And I'm going to use what we did in Lesson 7 to help us with these first two. A, if you remember, the initial value is the y-intercept. So I can look at this and I can see my A value right there. My A value in this case is 4, and in this case over here, it's 15. How do I find my B value? Well, I'm going to go one x value over. So I'm going to go and find where it's at. So when x is 0, right, y was 4. When x is 1, y is 8. So basically I want to know when x went up one value, which it did, what did I do to get from here to here? Times by what? What did I multiply 4 by to get to 8? And that would be 2. So my b value is 2. So then my function is y equals 4 times 2 to the x. Okay. Over here, when x is 1, so x equals 0, y was 15. When x equals 1, y was 5. What do I have to do to get from 15 to 5? I had to divide by 3, right? 15 divided by 3 gives me 5. Well, I can't divide. It has to be multiplication. So what's another way of saying divide by 3? Multiply by 1/3. So my function was y equals 15 times 1/3 to the x. Okay? And that's from a graph. What you're going to probably have more of on your quizzes and tests and things like that are from 2 points. Write the exponential function from the given 2 points. So 112 and 236. So what I have given you, I've given you 2 points from the exponential function. Which letters do those represent? Those are x and y, right? So this is an x, this is a y, this is an x, this is a y. Just like I did up here, right? I gave you an x and a y, an x and a y, and you found a and b. Okay, plug those values in, and now we have a system of equations. Except these two equations are not linear, they are exponential. That means we have to solve them differently, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. But equation 1, I'm putting, it's y equals, right, a times b to the x, so I'm putting y and x in the right spot. So 12 is y equals a times b, and x is, when y is 12, x is 1. Do the same thing for the second point. So 36 equals a times b to the second. When y is 36, x is 2. Now, how to solve this? When we had a system of equations in the first semester, this was like ax plus by equals a number, ax plus by equals another number, right? And we would add the two equations. Well, now we're multiplying a and b. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide the two equations. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the order of these. You don't do this every time. Here's what you want to do. You want to have the larger x value on top. Huge thing to do. The larger x value on top. The x value is the exponent, right? So I'm going to switch them. So I'm going to write 36 equals ab to the second, and I'm going to write 12 equals ab to the first. And now I'm going to divide these two. So 36 divided by 12 gives me 3, right? Now here's why we do this. A divided by a, right, cancels. A divided by a, where are there more a's? Well, they're the same, they cancel out. Where are there more b's? On top. We always want to have more b's on top. That's why I have this statement right here. So how many more b's are there? There's one more b on top. So b to the first, or just b. Look, I just found b. Okay, so recapping, notice what cancels. the a value. Because that canceled, we can find the value of the other needed piece, or the b value. Once you have that piece, you can plug it in and solve for the other. So I have b as 3. Now I can plug it in, and I'm going to plug it into the bottom one since those numbers are smaller. So I'm going to have 12 equals a. B is now 3, so I can put 3 in for b to the first power. Well, 3 to the first power is just 3. So 12 equals 3a, divided by 3, I get a equals 4. So now I have my two pieces, and my function is y equals 4 times 3 to the x. Okay? Now we're going to do that a few more times on the back. You're noticing it's going to be the exact same way each time. I want my larger x value on top. So I'm going to usually, you're going to see me start with the second. So 96 equals ab to the third. 48 equals ab to the second. Divide. 96 divided by 48 is 2. A's cancel. Where are there more b's? On top. There's one more. My b value is 2. Okay? If you want, because a lot of people will mess this up, that's what you need. You need those two things. I found the first one. Or sorry, I found the second. The b value goes here. Now I take that and plug it in. I'm going to go with the bottom one again. 48 equals a times 2 squared. Now what's 2 squared? That's 4. I get a equals 12. And there's my function. Okay? Next one, do the same thing. I need those two pieces. 5 equals ab to the second. 20 equals ab to the first. Now you might be thinking, well, the larger number's on the bottom now. I don't care what these values are. I want the larger exponent first. Okay, so watch what happens here. 5 divided by 20, and I'm going to leave it as a fraction and reduce it. Take 5 out, I get 1 over 4 equals b. So b is 1/4. This is a decay, which should make sense. As x is getting bigger, the y value is getting smaller. It's decaying. It's getting smaller. Okay, so 1/4. Now I'm going to use the bottom one again. So 20 equals a times 1/4 to the first. So 20 equals 1/4 a. This one's going to be a little bit tricky. Maybe, maybe not. Times by 4. It's not divide by 1/4. I'm multiplying by 4. 4 times 20 is 80. So it starts at 80 and it divides by 4 each time. Okay. The next one's definitely tricky, and I'll show you why. 27 equals ab to the third. 3 equals ab to the first. I'm dividing those. 27 divided by 3 is 9. A's cancel. Where are there more b's? On top. How many more? 2. Now that's b squared. I don't want b squared. I want b. How do I get b? Well, this is saying what number times itself gives me 9. So what number times itself gives me 9? That would be 3. Okay, we haven't talked about this yet, but to get that, you want to take the square root. It's a quick way of doing it, but think of it that way. What number times itself gives me 9? 3. 3 times 3 gives me 9. So my b value is 3. That makes it a little tricky. You will see some of those, but yeah. Now I'm going to plug it in. So 3 equals a times 3 to the first. So a equals 1. One more. 54 equals ab to the third. 90 equals ab to the second. 54 divided by 90. I know I can take 9 out. So 6. And 90 divided by 9 is 10. I can go a little further. 3/5, right? Equals more b's on top by 1. So b is 3/5. Now I take that and plug it in. So 90 equals a times 3/5 squared. Looking kind of tricky here, but if you keep in mind all the rules we've learned in this unit, it's not that bad. 3 squared is 9. 5 squared is 25. So now I have to get rid of the 25, so I'm going to multiply by 25. So 90 times 25 is 2250 equals 9a. Divide by 9, I get a equals 250. And that is writing equations, exponential equations from 2 points.